The empire of the Brown family didn't fall quietly. It fell under the radar of betrayal, courtroom surprises, and a truth too great to be silenced. What happened in that Arizona courtroom wasn't merely the destruction of Kody Brown, it was the day Janelle took back her power, and a cultural quake rocked the entire polygamy world. Hey everybody, welcome back to Reality Recap, the secrets that would not remain hidden. Your Honor, this is not just a matter of a marriage. This is about betrayal, manipulation, and a woman's lost trust. The courtroom became increasingly heavier by the minute, heavy with quiet expectation and speculation of scandal. The gallery stood room only sister wives, enthusiasts, reporters, and nosy observers, streaming into the trial like moths to a flame. And in the center of it all stood Janelle Brown, steely-eyed but glassy, her voice shaking, but firm as she spoke words for which she had been waiting decades. Across from her was Kody Brown, formerly the charismatic face of America's most popular polygamous family, now stiff in his starched gray suit, his jaw clenched tight, fingers drumming anxiously on the tabletop. Next to him, Robyn, the alleged equal partner in a spiritual family, had her head down, avoiding the room's scrutiny. It was never meant to end like this. Janelle had been a convert to the dream that Kody sold all of them. A harmonious, God-focused, plural marriage of respect and love. That vision had united Kody, Meri, Christine, Janelle, and later Robyn into what fans once referred to as the Brown Kingdom. But as it turned out, that kingdom was founded on shaky soil, one that had already collapsed beneath the surface. What pulled them into court wasn't a broken heart. It was a secret buried deep, one Janelle uncovered by accident, one document that turned her whole world on its head. The shocker, a legal marriage certificate tying Kody and Robyn Brown. She discovered it rummaging through old family documents, looking for her son Gabriel's vaccination history. Intermingled between yellowing real estate documents and tax documents was a folder she was never supposed to see. Inside, a 2014 marriage certificate, signed, notarized, and legal. That was when it all made sense. The favoritism, the exclusion, the money choices that never quite balanced. None of it had been an accident. They were deliberate acts, calculated, strategic, chilling. I looked at it for 10 minutes, she remembered from the stand, voice shaking. My hands trembled. I thought I was going to vomit. It was like reading my own obituary. The letter confirmed it, whereas Janelle, Meri, and Christine were tied only to spiritual unions. Robyn was Kody's only legal wife. The others had been relegated to specters in a house founded on loopholes, and none of them had ever known. Whispers circulated through the court. Kody fidgeted in his chair, tension hanging between them barely visible. Robyn's fists were clenched in her lap, face pale, eyes blinking wildly, as if attempting to vanish. But the betrayal wasn't emotional, it was financial. By legally marrying Robyn, Kody had bound all legal right to her. Property, inheritance, insurance, control, everything went to Robyn, none to Janelle, none to Meri, none to Christine, who had already been gone, and the worst part of all, he never informed them. I gave him my life, my body, my children, my money. And he didn't even think I was worth the truth, Janelle's voice broke. That is not only wrong, that is criminal. Her attorneys did not hesitate to paint the larger picture. They provided proof of Kody using family savings cash from all the wives to purchase a home in his name, and Robyn's alone. Vacations paid for out of pooled money, credit lines established without permission, and a hidden bank account established in 2015 that the others had no idea existed. This was not ignorance, her lawyer stated. This was intentional deception, a scheme to consolidate power and money in one wife, on the expense of the others. Then there were the texts. Screenshots presented at court indicated Kody informing Robyn, "Once we are settled, I will come up with a way to explain it. We have to play the long game. keep things smooth on the surface. I love them, but our future is us." The courtroom collectively gasped. Robyn covered her mouth in shock, wide-eyed. Cody's face turned red as he glared at the luminous screen. Janelle sat still, but in her mind she knew these weren't just words. They were years of her existence rewritten: sleepless nights, missed birthdays, sacrifices. Now they weren't just memories now, they were evidence. It wasn't love lost, it was love displaced. And while this was technically a court of law, it was also a trial in the court of public opinion. Fans had already made up their minds. Online communities blew up with hashtags. Number Justice for Janelle, number Robyn exposed, number Cody lied. Old shows were recycled, suddenly viewed through different eyes. Fans cited how Janelle was shut down, ignored, rendered invisible. Clips were shared of Cody praising Robyn for her faithfulness, while avoiding eye contact with his other wives. Now, the truth wasn't merely spoken in hushed tones, it was unraveling on live television. And then, in a shocking turn of events, Janelle's attorney produced a bombshell, a signed affidavit from Meri Brown herself. Although not present in person, Meri had delivered a written affidavit completely supporting Janelle's assertions. Meri's letter was, "Years of my life wasted pretending I was important to him, but we weren't wives. We were props, background pieces in his fantasy of control. Robyn was always the endgame, I just refused to see it." The courtroom fell silent, for what seemed like centuries. Even the judge, who had been maintaining rigid control the whole time, didn't draw a breath before finally announcing, "This case isn't just about marital form, it is about integrity, fairness, and truth." Cody's lawyers rushed to play down the situation, claiming the legal marriage was only for the sake of adopting Robyn's children. But when questioned why that marriage had been a secret from the rest of the family, their defense collapsed in an instant. And then there was the incisive question Janelle was asked. "What do you want from this?" She did not think twice. "I want the truth. I want financial justice. And I want my children to know their mother didn't stay silent when it mattered most." With those words, the atmosphere changed. This wasn't about plural marriages or spiritual ties anymore. This was about a woman taking back control of her voice in a room that had spent years attempting to muzzle it. It was no longer simply another installment in the sister-wives saga. It was the start of an accounting, a court bombshell that altered everything. And it wasn't just the courtroom that shook. It was the entire audience of sister wives, a nation of viewers who had watched the Browns for more than a decade. When Janelle placed that marriage license between Cody and Robyn into evidence, it was as if a fuse had been lit under years of hidden pain and emotional debris, now exploding in real time. The courtroom was silent once more, as the original was revealed inside a clear plastic envelope. The date was cold and irrefutable. 11th of December 2014, at one end, the notary seal shone dimly under the fluorescent lighting. Cameras popped like shots as the room was filled with gasps. The judge hunched forward. "Mrs. Brown, on what date did you discover this document?" "6 months ago," Janelle replied promptly, "sorting through medical histories for one of my children. I had no idea it was there. Nobody ever informed me about it, and I was married to Cody more than 25 years. Cody would not raise his head. He sat slouched, as though the very fact had 100 pounds sitting upon his back. Robyn's fists were balled so tightly that her knuckles had turned white. For the first time in years, the glossy facade of the Brown family was broken. Not on television, not in private life, but before a judge and jury sworn to tell the truth, with penalties to follow. Janelle's lawyer, Meri, a wise-tongued attorney with a reputation for defending women in explosive family court wars, stood in front of the judge with a remote control in her hand. "We're going to present to you a pattern, Your Honor," she declared. "Not an error, not a misinterpretation. A deliberate scheme to disrobe Miss Brown of her rightful place in the very family she assisted in building." She clicked again, The screen behind her flashed to life. Slide 1 Bank transfers. Scores of transactions starting mid-2015, pouring communal funds into Kody and Robyn. Only co-owned accounts. Money Janelle and the other wives had made selling real estate, book contracts, even sister wives' television money. Slide 2 Property purchases. The purchase of a luxury residence in Flagstaff, Arizona, under a trust naming Robyn. The expectation was that it was a family property until the title of sole ownership came down to her. Slide 3 Legal correspondence. Emails by Kody to an attorney in real estate, where they discussed how to protect key assets under the legal wife's claim. One email stated, "If Robyn is the legal wife, she is the default heir. Makes everything simpler. Easier for whom?" the room appeared to ask. Grumblings spread throughout the gallery. Journalists clacked away, fans leaned in, and even the court reporters struggled to keep pace with the onslaught of incriminating proof. But Kinsey was far from finished. She moved on to the emotional terrain, the sort that no spreadsheet could convey. "Mrs. Brown, when did you begin to notice the dynamic of your marriage shifting?" Janelle's eyes fell. "The day Robyn joined the family. It started, but I didn't realize the full truth until many years later. He became remote. He quit seeking my opinion. Vacations were planned without me. My children were ignored. My voice was absent from our family choices." She took a deep breath. "And when I finally spoke up to him in 2021, do you know what he said to me? The silence was so profound that you could hear a pen drop on the floor. He said to me, 'You've always been strong-willed, Janelle. You don't need me like Robyn needs me.' Those 3 words cut deeper than any contract or email ever possibly could. They exposed what had always been real. Kody hadn't just preferred Robyn, he'd reorganized the whole family so that she was the hub, and everyone else orbited like planets around her, and now Janelle had the evidence on paper. But even that wasn't finished. One last bombshell still remained, in reserve. Janelle's lawyer faced the bailiff and presented a printed bundle of text messages, electronic ink that weighed as much as a hammer. The messages from Kody to Robyn in 2017 were composed during a secret vacation the two had taken without informing the other wives. "Kody, I can't lead this double life any longer. With you, I can finally breathe. Kody, they won't get it. They still believe this is about unity. Kody, let's create for ourselves. We've played along long enough." The judge's expression grew somber. "Were these texts ever presented to the other wives?" Janelle nodded firmly. "Only now. I got them through a subpoena. He erased them from my phones." Kody leapt to his feet, yelling, "That is not true." "I never sit down, Mr. Brown," the judge snapped, his voice like thunder. "You will not interrupt. You'll have your chance to speak." Kody sat, his cheeks flushed red, his eyes fixed to the floor in anger. Robyn leaned over and put a hand on his arm, but he pulled it away. That one gesture, that small retreating, was louder than anything that either of them might have spoken. Their solidarity was breaking down, and Janelle stood taller than ever. Meanwhile, in the world outside the courtroom, it exploded. Twitter threads unwound timelines, TikToks went viral with clips of testimony. Fans made side-by-side deconstructions of Sister Wives episodes, re-examining past moments with the benefit of hindsight. Each dinner scene, each posed smile, each tearful confession by Robyn, followed by Kody's hasty hug. All were suspect. Had it all been a facade? But Janelle's case wasn't emotion. Driven alone, it had teeth. Her lawyer referred to precedents in cases of polygamous communities, where wives in spirit marriages had been able to win compensation after lawful marriages shifted the balance in terms of fairness. And in this case, the Browns weren't merely a family, they were an enterprise recorded, videotaped, commercialized. Kody Brown, Janelle's attorney, asserted flatly, was not merely a husband. He was a business partner and a spiritual leader who breached both fiduciary and emotional trust. The judge leaned forward. Go on. A forensic accountant testified, holding up figures that cut the air like blades. A $750,000 discrepancy in family income between 2015 and 2022. Money diverted mostly to Robyn's house, her children's education, and even under-the-table investments. Kody's defense tried to argue the funds were used for the family's benefit, but the numbers betrayed him. Christine's, Meri's, and Janelle's household expenses had remained steady. Only Robyn's account swelled. Even her Amazon purchase history used by Janelle's attorney as evidence became a weapon, painting a vivid picture of excess. The contrast was devastating. Janelle confessed she had gone so far as to borrow money from her adult children in 2021, simply to pay bills. The judge scanned the room. Mrs. Brown, were you ever paid for your work toward the family income? Silence, then Janelle barely breathed. Never. When court recessed one day, tension clung like smoke after flames. Reporters gathered outside. Someone yelled, "Janelle, is this revenge?" She shook her head. "Number, I am doing this for closure, for truth. For every woman who was told she had to share to be worthy. I believed in family. He believed in control." That night, headlines filled all the outlets. Kody's secret marriage exposed in court. Janelle drops financial bombshells. Robyn's loyalty costs Kody everything. Robyn breaks down on the stand. And within the courtroom, the air grew heavy the moment her name was announced. "Miss Robyn Brown, come forward." She stood slowly, adjusting her blouse with shaking hands. Her gaze flicked to Kody, who nodded but faintly, unrecognizably. This was the moment everyone had been waiting for, the so-called favorite wife. The woman most fans held responsible for the collapsing of the Brown family, now standing alone under oath. She cursed under her breath, her voice hoarse, her face stretched tight, nerves pulling. This wasn't weepy, photogenic Robyn from confessionals. No producers present, no second takes, no precisely aimed lighting, only truth or the cost of avoiding it. Janelle sat in silence, hands crossed, eyes fixed on Robyn like a laser. She had waited years for this. The judge looked at her. "Miss Brown, you are sworn. Do you realize the gravity of this hearing and the import of your testimony?" "Yes, Your Honor," Robyn spoke softly. "Let's get on with it then." Janelle's lawyer didn't bother to waste any time. "When did you and Mr. Kody Brown become legally married?" Robyn's mouth opened. For what felt like an eternity, she was silent. The air was thick with nothingness. Then, 2014. December. Did the other wives have any idea about this marriage then? Her cheeks turned bright crimson. No, they didn't. Why not? One tear streamed down her cheek. Because Kody said it would create chaos. He said he'd tell them later. He said it was for adopting my children, but he never told them. The courtroom was filled with gasps. The silence that ensued wasn't only thick, it was suffocating. Not just because of what she confessed to, but due to the manner in which she confessed it. This wasn't calculated, cold defense, it was guilt. Undiluted, overwhelming guilt that had been building for decades and was now overflowing into every sentence she uttered. "I didn't want to be the legal wife," Robyn admitted, her voice cracking. The courtroom gasped. "I just wanted love. I wanted stability for my children. My kids were in limbo. I believed marrying Kody would provide them stability." The attorney leaned forward. "And what did Kody tell you? Did he ever say he loved you more than the others?" Robyn looked down at the floor. "He never said it in so many words, but he didn't need to," the judge interrupted curtly. "Speak for yourself, Miss Brown." Robyn wiped away her tears. "He selected me for all of it. Holidays, making decisions, financial things. The other wives pleaded for attention, but Kody would come to me instead and vent about them. He made me feel special, like I was the only one he cared about." Kody fidgeted uneasily in his seat. The bravado he had worn as armor had fractured. His jaw was clenched tight, his skin chalky, silent, but disintegrating. The man who had founded a family on control and charisma now resembled one dismantling bit by bit. The questioning shifted to finances, Flagstaff property, secret family trust, TLC checks flowing into new accounts. Yes, Robyn admitted, Cody opened accounts in both our names. I signed documents that I did not completely understand. I trusted him. But you had the upper hand, didn't you? The attorney probed. Her voice cracked. Yes, I did. Did you ever ask yourself why the other wives weren't invited? A sigh escaped. I was too scared to ask. Her eyes came up then, not at the judge, not at her attorney, but directly at Janelle. I am sorry, she whispered. I know it won't make a difference now, but I never meant to hurt you. I never meant to take anything away from you. I was afraid, selfish, and I let it all happen for an instant. Janelle's expression changed. It was not forgiveness, but maybe understanding. That Robyn was not the blameless victim she had pretended to be. She was worse, a knowing participant in silence. The judge interrupted once more. You and Mr. Brown ever talk about living without the other wives? Robyn hesitated. Answer clearly, Miss Brown's. Slowly she nodded. Yes, he said the stress was unbearable. He said he was finished with plural marriage, but didn't want to admit it to the public. He said the expectations of the show were suffocating him. The courtroom was silent. Nobody was surprised, but hearing it stated out loud stung like betrayal inscribed in stone. Janelle's lawyer leaned in to deliver the coup de grace face. Did you think that Cody was spiritually married to Janelle all this time? Robyn shook her head number. He stopped coming over to her house, stopped calling her. He said that she was like a friend, but still played the part of her husband. Yes, Robyn nodded. To maintain appearances for the show. Another nod, the truth revealed. The marriage ended, but the lie kept alive for financial gain. A Meri staged for TLC and marketed as family. Her testimony complete, Robyn shook as she exited. She took her seat next to Cody, who never once glanced her direction. The judge called for a brief recess, and the courtroom erupted in whispers and papers being rustled. Outside, the fans analyzed each sentence. Twitter trends exploded globally. Number Robyn breaks down, number Cody exposed, number justice for Janelle, number TLC manipulation. Experts on YouTube and TikTok deconstructed her tears, her gestures, her inconsistencies. Some sympathized with her, others accused her of drama, acting, but no one disagreed. This was not reality television anymore. This was Judgment Day. Janelle strode out with head held high. Asked if Robyn's apology mattered, she hesitated before responding, half, truth said too late, or nothing. Her voice cracked like thunder. Robyn had cried, she had admitted. But in Janelle's universe, no apology could ever expunge years of unspoken betrayal. The Browns' foundation had been broken for years, but today, before the world, it broke, and with the next hearing looming, Cody's turn to take the stand. It was clear the war was not ending anytime soon. This was only the start. The judge's voice rang out. Mr. Brown, step forward. The time had come. The husband who had preached family values and religious harmony was now soon to be put on trial, by the court and by each woman he ever referred to as a wife. Cody stood up, adjusted his tie, and made his way slowly to the witness stand. Gone were the trademark swagger, the arrogant gestures with which viewers of TLC were familiar. He seemed smaller, older, a man trapped in the web of his own kingdom. He took the oath to answer truthfully and sat. Before questioning started, the air inside the courtroom was charged, like the whole room might explode with one misstep in words. Across the room, Janelle observed, her expression unyielding. Behind him, Robyn sat tightly, fists balled, eyes on the floor. The seats reserved for Christine and Meri were vacant, but the two lingered in every charge, every file, every silent tear. Cody took a deep breath. Mr. Brown, the judge started. Today you are confronted with some very serious questions about your financial choices, your legal marriage to one wife, and your spiritual vows to others. Are you ready to tell the truth? I am, Cody stated, his voice firm but tight. Janelle's lawyer moved forward. Let us begin simply. When did you legally wed Robyn? Late 2014, Cody replied. It was a strategic move, strategic. Cody gave a curt nod. Her children, 3 from her first marriage, had to be insured. I could adopt them only if I were legally her husband. I needed to have them protected. Did you inform your other wives prior to the marriage? He paused. No, I didn't. And why not? Cody swallowed hard. Because they wouldn't have gotten it. The attorney's eyes never left his. Or were you afraid they'd prevent you? That is not the truth, Cody snapped. I was protecting the entire family. The lawyer leaned forward, safeguarding. Then let's discuss that. Is that why you took out a private account in Robyn's name, an account none of the other wives knew about? Cody bristled. That was for household expenses. Which household? He blinked. Robyn's, just Robyn's, yes. A whisper ran through the courtroom. Was Janelle knowledgeable about this account? Number Christine. Number and Meri. Number, so let me make one thing clear. Your officially married wife, Robyn, had a secret financial pipeline with you, while the women who raised your kids, constructed homes with you, and assisted in the growth of the brand that catapulted you to fame, were shut out completely. It wasn't intended to shut them out, Cody said hastily. It was a misunderstanding. The attorney turned to the judge. An 8-year misunderstanding. Cody's face burned crimson. The interrogation grew more acerbic, transaction by transaction, one by one. His money choices were picked apart. Travel, real estate, investments, all through Robyn. The judge interrupted. Mr. Brown, did you ever inform your other wives they weren't officially recognized under state law? Cody's eyes fell. Number, did you permit them to think they were equal? Yes, thank you. That is sufficient. The room grew quiet. The judge's voice was no longer neutral, but dubiously so. Janelle's lawyer came at Cody from another direction. Mr. Brown, did you think you loved your wives equally? Cody's jaw clenched. I tried, but did you? There was a silence before he whispered, Number, and whom did you love most? The whole courtroom leaned in. Cody glanced over at Robyn. Robyn? He breathed. A groan of collective shock erupted. Janelle's face was white with shock. Even Robyn's eyes grew wide. And when did you discover this? The day I married her, Cody replied, drawing a breath. The gavel had not even fallen, and judgment was already served. Within the hearts of the wives he once shared life with, and of those who had taken him at his word, Cody attempted to rebound. But that does not mean that I didn't care about Janelle, Christine, or Meri. I did, I still do. The attorney pushed further. But you married just one. You secured just one future. And you just fought for one household. Isn't that right? Cody remained quiet. Isn't that right? She said louder. Yes, Cody finally burst, cracking under tension. Yes, I married Robyn because I loved her differently. Because she needed me. And yes, I dwelt more on her and our life together than on the others. But I never set out to wound anyone. I was tired of pretending. The words silenced the room. He had said what nobody had been expecting him to say. He was tired of pretending. To the outside world, Cody had played the loyal, polygamist father and husband, splitting time equally and in faith. But behind closed doors, the other wives were illusions, part to keep alive for cameras and contracts. Janelle's attorney did not need to prod further. Cody had shot down his own credibility. His defense team tried to counter, portraying him as chivalrous, burdened by the unrealistic demands of plural marriage and the stress of catering to everyone's needs. But the harm was done. The judge leaned forward. Mr. Brown, do you know that most of your financial decisions, particularly transferring assets without spousal consent, are potential violations of trust in a common marriage? Cody appeared shocked. I didn't know. Then you should have, the judge snapped. You weren't just dealing with feelings, Mr. Brown. You were dealing with futures. Cody's meticulously built world was collapsing. I was trying my best, he yelled. Do you have any idea what that is like? People tugging at you day in and day out. 4 wives, 18 children, cameras in your home. I couldn't catch my breath, and rather than pulling back, you pressed harder, the judge told her sternly. On Robyn, on secrecy, on control. Cody's eyes scanned the room, his forehead glistening with sweat, lips quivering. I never wanted it to end like this, but no one said anything, for wanting did not count anymore, not when the receipts were irrefutable. The union had been a marriage, and the betrayal had cut wounds deep and wide. Outside the court, reporters called it the demise of a polygamist patriarch. Fans flooded social media with memes of defeated Cody, stamped with quotes from his own testimony. Hashtags circulated. Number Cody crumbles. Number Robyn was the plan. Number pretending for paychecks. But the best barb belonged to an anonymous former TLC producer, who tweeted, "The show sold Unity reality was ratings." Cody knew the difference. So did Robyn. Back in the courtroom, Cody descended from the witness stand, walking past Janelle without her so much as looking at him. For all those years, she had pleaded for his time, his honesty, his consideration, and now she did have them, but only through court mandates and broken love. The family is shattered. The future, rewritten, the judge's words, reverberated. The tension was unbearable. 4 days of testimony had yielded 4 days of tears, secrets, and betrayals. Millions across the country had witnessed the myth of the Brown family shatter. What was once touted as a successful plural marriage was now nothing but lawsuits, shattered trust, and wounds that would never heal. Cody was seated at the defense table, hands together, eyes far away, his pale face empty, as if he had no idea where his life took a turn for the worse. Robyn next to him sat rigid, staring at the floor, her bubbly expressions now veiled behind an empty mask. It wasn't so much about saving faces anymore. It was survival, legal, emotional. Spiritual in the corner, Janelle stood upright, proud but battered by the storm. Her eyes gave away the weariness of years of pain. She was no longer angry. That flame had long ago burned out. Today there only remained resolve, and today perhaps justice could stand beside her. The judge came back, papers in his hand, face impassive. The room dropped into silence, the air itself weighing. Ladies and gentlemen, his tone was even, but unyielding. This court has heard not merely evidence of breaches of law, but of spiritual duress, financial dishonesty, and personal betrayals that cannot be dismissed. Cody winced. While Arizona law does not recognize polygamous marriages, the judge went on, this court does acknowledge the communal and economic arrangements that many families are living under. And when such arrangements are tainted in bad faith, the law must step in. His eyes hardened at Cody. Mr. Brown, you were more than a husband. You were a leader, a public figure, the administrator of public funds, and the face of a nationally syndicated show that made money off the illusion of a united people. But behind closed doors, you created hierarchy. You legally committed yourself to one wife while lying to the others that they were equal. You stashed money in secret accounts, falsified ownership, secured one home while leaving others to fight for theirs. This was no accidental oversight. This was a system, an intentional one, and this court finds it emotional neglect and financial malfeasance. Robyn's eyes welled with tears. Softening, the judge spoke to Janelle. Miss Brown, you came in good faith. You gave financially, emotionally, spiritually. You raised children, supported households, and assisted in constructing the family's public image. What you experienced was systemic betrayal, and this court recognizes it. Janelle nodded slightly, her face as firm as steel. The ruling was then made by the judge. Financial restitution: Kody Brown owes Janelle Brown $275,000 for embezzled money, lost joint assets, and damages sustained due to secret accounts. Property settlement: Janelle Brown is awarded exclusive title to the Coyote Pass property. Furthermore, all equity she placed in Flagstaff houses must be returned within 120 days. Public correction: Kody Brown will be required to make a public formal apology, accepting that his legal marriage to Robyn resulted in an unjust hierarchy and caused harm. Media audit: the Sister Wives 2015 fee 2022 profit made by TLC will be audited. Janelle is to be paid backdated profit. Sharing for profits diverted disproportionately to Cody and Robyn. Cody dipped his head, Robyn wept silently. Janelle did not cheer, did not weep. She breathed a sigh of relief at last. This is not just about one man's wrongs, the judge concluded. It is about the damage done when power is misused, when love is used as leverage, when trust is turned into a weapon. Let this judgment stand as warning, beyond Mr. Brown, to anyone who wraps injustice in family. A family cannot live on lies. The gavel came down. It was done, but the consequences were only just starting. On the courthouse steps, Janelle stood before a whirlwind of microphones, cameras, and flashing lights. Reporters yelled. She didn't blink, calm, unyielding. "Miss Brown, how are you feeling?" one of them asked. She took a deep breath. "I stood up for myself when it counted. Do you still talk to Cody?" "Number and I don't have to," and Robyn. A moment's hesitation. "We weren't rivals, but we were never sisters. Not after this." While Cody snuck out the back door. No cameras, no press, just a silence. A man once fixated on dominating attention, now vanishing into obscurity like a shadow that melts away. Online, it went nuts. Forums blew up, YouTubers analyzed the trial in frame by frame detail, memes overflowed timelines. Support rained down on Janelle, now an icon of strength, a testament to boundaries being set, even against a system that was meant to silence women. But it didn't end there. Throughout the nation, women in these types of marriages started to wonder about their lives. Ex-wives came forward. What transpired in that Arizona courtroom wasn't merely the breakdown of one family, it was a shift in culture. That evening at home, Janelle sat with her children. No cameras, no commotion, just pizza at the table. But something was different. "Mom, are you okay now?" her daughter asked. Janelle smiled, better than ever, because justice, for all it couldn't undo, had given her power back. She didn't require a husband to legitimize her. She didn't require a television show to authenticate her. She had accomplished what no one believed was possible, defied an establishment created against her, and emerged not shattered, but triumphant.